Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this. But before we do start, I do want to make a quick note. I am not a Borderlands fan. This is coming from another perspective, of course. And probably after this, I'm probably never going to be a Borderline fan or Borderland fan, whatever the fuck the game's called, because of this statement. Now, obviously, of course, this has just happened actually recently, believe it or not, and it has been making rounds a lot lately. And for those who do not know, and I believe this happened casually. This guy is what I can see might be the creator or CEO. Okay, so it's a CEO of the Borderland games and whatever company Borderlands is from. And as you can see, pretty much I'm not going to fully read too much of it, but you can see the guy is. What happened was the guy asked this better not be a $80 game. Now, honestly, for context, which isn't needed, the $80 game situation has gotten into a very bad spot lately. If you recall, called very early, I think earlier this month and earlier last month, you recall the whole situation involving Nintendo's Mario Kart being $80. And of course, it's not just Mario Kart being $80. In fact, it seems to have gotten worse over to the point where even I will admit it is kind of getting bad in some way, shape, and form. Um, and of course, if you recall, for that situation alone, that's a little bit of a E kind of thing. Um, and it's not just the video games now; it's also now apparently video game consoles are getting more expensive after the Xbox thing. Um, But, of course, unlike most other professionals, when it comes to anything, and not just video games, but any sorts of media, uh, this guy, Pitchford, or whatever the fuck his name is, let's go and call him Randy, or Pitch, yeah, I'll just call him Pitch. Pitch decided to respond in the most stupidest way possible that is so dumb. I had to do a video of it, even though I don't know anything about Borderlands or pretty much who this guy is. Because in all honesty, even though I don't know Borderlands, this is an issue that's even literally outside of of that video game, as this is a more serious topic. Of course, he says the following: A, not my call. Well, questioning, of course, about the $80 stuff, or he doesn't know when it's going to happen. However, he then says, B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had a Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at a ice cream parlor in Palm Beach, blah blah blah. So literally, it basically somewhat translates to most people, which is what it looks like. Suck my dick, apparently. That's what this is about. Because really, the whole thing is just the most stupidest part of all that. Like, really? Really? Like, you should have just said, it's not your call in any way, shape, and form. And that would be it. Or even then, the better option that people have been pointing out, why respond? That's literally it. You don't need to respond to this thing. You don't see Nintendo responding to stuff and all that. Like, I mean, yeah, they did respond about the whole Switch 2 being dollars and stuff, but at least they did it a little bit more positively than this. It depends on the person, of course. And to be fair, they didn't mean to act like Xbox back in the day. They just meant it because they were still continuing support with Switch 1. Even though, again, gotta be careful with your words. But this is 10 times worse than that because holy crap. Like, for starters, there you have to understand, fandoms are going to do what fandoms want to do. They're their own people, of course. Like, really, you can't control the fandom of your own record. They're going to do something crazy, and you're going to have to deal with it either way. I'm just pointing that out. But the reason why I'm pointing this out, even though this is definitely not crazy, you can't expect a person who's a fan of your product to buy your product all the time. For example, I am a huge Pokemon fan. Of course, I will say I'm a casual fan, but I'm willing to say that and all that because there are Pokemon games I do not like. Everyone knows I want Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl to burn in hell, and I didn't even bought those. My freaking mother bought them, which, of course, nothing against her. She knows her son because I love Pokemon, but she didn't know I didn't want those games at all. In fact, I just recently sold them. And the same thing we said, I don't have Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and I never tend to buy those. And that's the thing, I am a huge Pokemon fan, but I'm not going out of my way to get their video games. And yes, you can also argue a little bit that, hey, those are a little bit cheaper than what this situation is, so who cares? That's not the point. The thing could be taken even out of the $80 stuff because people are, like I said, and this is the thing to clarify, which is kind of funny because now we're also seeing the opposite side doing this. Again, like I said, and again, this is definitely also Charlotte and Dark stuff, but I do need to clarify, which is kind of ironic. The thing is, you cannot tell people where they can put their money into. That's literally going into communism, and yeah, that might be going to the extreme of this, but that's how I feel when hearing that comment. And even then, sure, you can find a way, but it's not like they're going to pay up front. Hell, they might not even pay in a store. They might wait until it's like in a garage sale because they don't want to give money to you after that shit. And again, that's not even the point of the situation because it's very weird because it seems like he's really is being tone deaf and stuff. And it doesn't help with the whole bullshit he brings up with the whole old game cartridges. So for context, if you don't know about that, which I wouldn't blame you because it's really just stupid at this point. It's so stupid that you could tell it's still stupid. Apparently, back in the day, consoles were also expensive? Question mark. I don't know. I'm about to make a conspiracy theory towards that shit because really, it's just sounding like a damn stupid excuse to say things, which in reality, that ironically probably what happened with the game crash. So that's already causing chaos. But even then, I am definitely wrong because who gives a fuck on that? That's now becoming so much of an excuse. It's not even something, to say the least. Like, sure, I get part of your point, but you have to realize the issue isn't the fact that people can't make money. It's right now the economy right now. The economy is the problem right now. People are more focused on trying to have their heads underneath a roof right now. That's how serious this is. Not to mention with the whole inflations, freaking eggs becoming expensive because of a bird flu. Won't go back to freaking tariffs and stuff. Like, I'm trying my hardest not to go political turbo here because obviously, I don't like politics much as the next guy. In fact, I really hate it to the point where I just banned it in general on my channel in some cases. But this is a serious thing. I mean, yeah, sure, people right now aren't poor yet, but there is a risk. There is a glooming risk of that. There is a concern of another Great Depression here. Sure, probably not that great, who knows? But I'm trying to get my point across is money concerns is a real thing right now. And I might not be doing a great job explaining that, but trust me, these guys definitely explained it. I mean, look at all this, ignoring the other stuff like Auction C, Pirate Bay, and stuff like, holy crap. Like, it's very much funny and stuff. But then, of course, it gets weirder. It really does get extremely weirder because he then made a video. He made another post which involves this, say the least.
All right. What will the game's price be? That's an interesting one. I don't know this. The price, really, now? I'll tell you the truth. I don't know. And that is the truth. I'll hit it. I'll hit it straight on. And it's an interesting time, right? We've got the on one level, we've got a competitive marketplace where people want to, or the people that make those choices want to sell as many units as possible, and they want to be careful about people that are price sensitive. So there's some folks that don't want to see prices go up, even the ones deciding what the prices are. There's other folks accepting the reality that game budgets are increasing and there's tariffs for the retail packaging, and like, it's getting gnarly out there, you guys. Borderlands 4 has more than twice the development budget than Borderlands 3. More than twice. The truth is, I don't know what the price is going to be. I do know that we will be opening pre-orders soon, TM, and that will be when the price is set. I think that Borderlands 4, here's the philosophy we have. Whatever the price is, we're entertainers. Yes, we want to get more resources so we can make bigger and better games. There's a reason why Borderlands 4 is so awesome. It's because you guys showed up and supported Borderlands 3. And we had the budget, so we could more than double the budget and feel confident in that. And that's awesome. When the revenue comes in, we can spend it to make bigger games and better games. As artists, we want everybody to have it. You know, we want to make it as easy as possible for everybody to enjoy what we're creating. So it's a weird thing, but the fundamental philosophy is we want people to buy it so we have the resources to make more, but we want everyone who buys and plays a Gearbox game to feel certain that they got the better end of the bargain. Whatever the price is, that they got the best value. And that's the philosophy that we live by. And so we're going to have a price set soon, and it might be the new price that like Nintendo and Microsoft have led with. It might be that we stay back. It's going to be the people at the publishing house that decide that. And if it is cheaper, then maybe we'll sell you that mini map that you guys want, and we'll develop later. How bad do you want that? $10? I don't know. I'm just kidding. Or am I? I'm just kidding. Or am I? I'm just kidding. Or am I? I don't know. We'll know soon.
Okay, first of all, it is just coming from a guy. Never do that at the end. Never do that. Or, I'm just kidding, or not. I'm just kidding, or not. Dude, freaking make your fucking ass mine, or shut the fuck up. Because you're not helping your situation by making that joke. You're not. It's like you're literally just grabbing a shotgun and shooting your own nuts off in public. That's literally what that was, by the way. Like, what the fuck? And second of all, more importantly, no matter if you guys do think or was a better response or not, you can't deny there's a lot of tone deaf as well with that. First of all, it looks like he's trying to backtrack, but not. And obviously he's probably not really backtracking. He's just trying to pretend he's backtracking or some shit, honestly. Second of all, this is another issue that's been brought up, and I can tell. I will admit, if you've seen my first video on the whole Switch thing, the thing is, now I also myself have started to question if that is really a true thing. Like, for context, this has been happening. This is one of the defense that has been bringing up, and for some parts, I do believe it when it comes to the workers who works on the video games and stuff. But when it comes to the quality, that's where the issue is starting to question, because at first I was a little bit okay until, and this is coming from me too, because people on that video bashed me for that, which I will definitely take, especially now since after that whole Mario Direct crap. Yeah, I don't think, I don't care if it's, again, I don't care about pricing that much, but if it's looking like that, it's not really an $80 game. It looks like a $50 game. To be honest, it looks like a great game. I will say that, but where does the 80? I still need proof of the $80 because many have also pointed out some points that I didn't even know, and I'll admit to that. Like for example, that's not being the first open world racing game apparently, which surprised me. I think that's surprising, but hey, okay. Thank you, Ram Commenter. I'm blanking on his name, but I don't remember. But I do know they did comment on that. But that's a tendency because that feels like another excuse that's been coming up lately. And even then, that only depends on if you get the game and stuff. Because, sure, might be a quality game, but not every game with quality costs like much. Like, for example, Undertale is way more cheaper. Hell, even Delta Ruin, which is kind of a sequel thing, that's cheap. That's actually free. And that's a great game. In fact, it's probably still going to be free until after Chapter 4, at least what Toby Fox said. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he's been making that game since day uno, and it's been free. Yeah, and Undertale, the previous game, wasn't a bit free, but that's cheap. That's $30. And you get a good-ass freaking RPG. And sure, it's an indie game, but if an indie game is able to be underneath and deliver on all fronts, then the argument of a quality matches the pricing definitely fails in that matter. And like I said before, at first I kind of did believe, and I'll admit to that, but now I kind of see why that is a problem to see, because, I mean, and that's coming from also a Pokemon fan, because, be fair, they're just recently announced once you transfer Scarlet and Violet to the Switch 2, you get a free update on that. Which, why couldn't you just leave it for Switch 1? I don't care about horsepower. I feel like that's dumb, but whatever. But still. But the other thing is, why didn't you? The other thing is, if you really want to share your art to the world, you should at least make it accessible as best as you can. Sure, it's true, it is out of his hands, but you don't need to be a dick about it. It really is tone deaf. Even how he started, stuttering. Look, this is coming from a guy who also has stuttered before, and you guys always seen that. That was one of the core issues many people have pointed out. And if many people pointed out that on me, then him stuttering like that at the very beginning does not help things at all. Overall, this feels like a holy grail dick move. And again, the reason why I'm talking about this is not just because of the whole price thing, because we already know that's already an issue with getting with, say the least. For me, personally, it is coming from me, I will admit, I don't modestly care, but I do understand people's point of view of why it sucks, because especially now, since God knows what's going to happen with the future of not just, of course, video games, but every single thing in the world, if this keeps up. Especially, forwarding everything, like food and stuff. That is a serious topic. I mean, yeah, you could argue video games aren't food, but for fuck's sake, it's kind of a warning sign. It's one of the warning signs, but we're not getting into politics, but just FYI. But the reason why I'm doing this video is I never seen a video game company be a dick like this. And sure, to be clarification, I say that in more modern sense. I mean, I have seen the whole Xbox thing. I actually watched the whole, which is kind of funny because I watched it before the whole bombshell of Switch 2. So surprisingly, I was now up to date of what people mentioned with the Xbox thing. But I watched Gaming and Get Skeletons video on the Xbox One and how that freaking failed at the beginning due to that dick CEO. But At least even that was a little bit thing casually, but this is more of an actual dick move. And then again, I could be wrong, to say the least. I will admit that. But really, it is kind of shocking for me to see this, honestly. Because really, this is the best example of if you know your opinion is problematic, you need to keep your freaking mouth shut in some cases. And even then, this wasn't supposed to be the biggest deal, and yet you made it into the biggest deal. You could have just done what Nintendo's been doing. Heck, I'm actually now praising them for being confusing on their goddamn website because you've been literally coy with the details. They've been literally coy with the details while you just straight out be a dick. Jesus. And that's what it is. It really is a dickish move. Like, even if they try to quote unquote backtrack, which they really didn't, honestly, and you can shoot me if I'm wrong with that, because obviously it probably isn't backtracking. It's more like what it looks like. But even then, why say this first and then do that? Even then, why not just do the video and get it over with? And even then, why still be a dick? Why even talk about this? Like, really, you could have just ignored it. Like any other video game company. Trust me, I know. I've been literally commenting in Arc Systems like the rest of the people, where's Venom? In Nintendo Switch, they haven't responded, of course. And of course, many people already did that whole freaking lower the price, and Nintendo didn't respond. Well, of course, maybe a little bit later, but still, they didn't directly respond like this. This is literally a study case on why you should not do this, honestly. But I just want to talk about it because it's so fascinating to me. And really, I don't know. Like, this is really a very crazy situation. Anyways, this has been Flosscat looking at this crap. Snapping out of here. Bye-bye.